Welcome back, all 1,100 of you fellow poker junkies, to another episode. I hope you like premium hands, because I smashed an unreal number of them into a 4-hour session. That said, I almost didn't make it to this session. Watch what happened on the way in, and watch my reaction. If I have any takeaways from Reno, oh my goodness, it is icy. Holy crap. Whew. Okay, well, that was scary. We're new to the table with 1K in our stack and quickly get dealt pocket kings in the low jack. All right, let's kick this thing off. Middle position opens to $15. I raise to $50. Middle position makes the call. The flop is queen 10-10 with two spades. Middle position checks to me. I continue for $50 and he quickly folds. Now we get Cool J's in the cutoff. I raise to $20 and both of the blinds make the call. The flop is an ugly ace-9-5 all spades. The action checks through. The turn is the 7 of spades. I'm done with this hand, but we all check through again. The small blind throws in $5 blind before the river card arrives. Chances are that his hand is pretty weak, but it's really hard to credibly rep anything based on the action. I've checked multiple times, I've had the opportunity to bet, and now suddenly I'm going to go for a weird check raise on this action. I don't like it, I'm not going for it. I fold, and the small blind shows the 6 of spades. We're not even an hour into this thing, we already have pocket aces. The cutoff has been playing a lot of hands and opens to $15. I make it $55 in the small blind since I'm out of position, and he makes the call. The flop is good for us. A king-high all-diamond board giving us an overpair with a redraw to the nut flush. I bet small here for $40 to try to get a call from something like a king, but the cutoff folds. I barely have time to pause my camera, and I start it again for the very next hand on the button, and hey look, more aces. The hijack is our same opponent from the previous hand and opens to $25 over a limper. The cutoff calls, and I'm going to make it $110, which is what the hijack has left. He makes the call, and the cutoff folds. Let's watch this run out. Oh, Shazam! The flop is great with a top set, and just to make sure that the opponent is fully demoralized by this run out, the deck delivers the boat by the river to add some insult to injury. Hey, poker is a simple game when you get dealt monsters and they hold up. This is the first hand that hasn't been an easy decision. I open the 9-10 of diamonds from the cutoff to $30 over a limper, and I get 3 callers. The flop is queen of hearts, 5 of diamonds, deuce of diamonds. It checks to me, and I bet $40, but I think in retrospect, I prefer to just check here. I pressed the C-bet button way too fast, and it's just really not that good of a spot. I think maybe if this was something like, queen 8 deuce with 2 diamonds, like I need a little more equity. The gut shot or something else to give me like an open ender or something like that if I'm going to be betting. Otherwise, I think I should just take my equity and check. I end up getting 2 callers. The turn is the 3 of hearts. The action now checks through. The river is the king of clubs. The big blind now bets $125 and the table quickly folds around. I'm kind of starting to feel like a snob. I didn't get a premium hand for the last hand and I didn't win. That is simply unacceptable. The dealer makes it right by sending us a nice looking ace-king in the small blind. We're back. Under the gun 1 raises to $20 and I make it $75. He calls. The flop is ace of spades, 7 of clubs, 10 of clubs, and I lead out for $65. He raises now to $200. Okay, this could be a set of 10s or ace-10, but there are plenty of aces out there that we are tied with or beating. Are they going to take this line? I'm not sure, but I at least need to call once to see what develops on the turn. I make the call. The turn is the jack of hearts. I check, and he bets $200 again. I think that if he had a really strong hand like a set or 2 pair, he's going to be looking to put a lot more money in on the turn. Since he decided to bet the same amount, it looks a little bit weak to me. I'm now leaning towards him holding more of the good aces that we are in good shape against, so I make the call. The river is the 8 of diamonds, and it checks through. Under the gun 1 shows that he also likes premium hands, and flips over his ace-king as well. We're chopping this one up. Continuing with our run of non-stop premium hands, we get pocket kings for the second time in the night. This is unbelievable, guys. We have not been at the table long enough for all these awesome hands to have shown up. I open from the hijack to $20 and get a caller. Then, one of the blinds must be confused as to what month it is because he seems to be in the Christmas spirit during the wrong month. He raises to $100 and has only $175 behind. It's an easy decision to shove for the rest of the money, and he makes the call. Let's see what happens. That's 2 all-ins and 2 boats. Now we get our first peasant's hand with pocket fives. Pocket fives? That's for poor people. I raised to $30 over a $10 straddle when it folds to me short-handed. I still get 2 callers. The flop is a good one for us. 10-10-3, and I make a stab, knowing that I will take it down here fairly often by betting 35, and both players do choose to fold. We got it done with the weak pocket pair. Now let's see what we can do with an ace-jack offsuit. There's a limp in front, and I raise to $20 in the cutoff. The limper makes the call. The flop is king 9-8 rainbow. It checks through, and I think our opponent is going to have enough of a hand on this flop to stick around. He can have kings, he can have straight draws, he can have pairs, 2 pairs. I'm going to decline to c-bet here and plan to do so on the turn on any good cards. The turn is the 10 of clubs, adding a club draw and giving me the open-ender. I bet $15, going really small here, planning to fire a good-sized bet on the river if he checks again. He makes the call. The river is the 4 of hearts, and now he leads out for $20. This is such a weird, small bet, and I don't expect it to be a bluff. I think this is someone who has hit a hand and is afraid to miss out on value. I'm not going to raise him here. I just don't think that we're in a good enough spot to really go for it. Seems more like begging for a call, so I made the fold. For this hand, the low jack raises to $15, and we have a good candidate for a little set mining. I make the call, and we head 5 ways to ace-6-3 rainbow. A ka-ching! The low jack is in a generous mood and throws $50 away with a bet. That's kind of him. But I've been eyeballing a new pair of shoes that cost more than $50, so I raised to $150, hoping that he feels especially charitable with his donation to the Shoes for Sean's Foundation. Well, it turns out that he has a heart of gold. He makes the call. The turn is the 5 of spades, adding a spade draw. I made a large 70% bet on the turn here, hoping that our opponent has a strong ace and can't let go. He thinks about it for a long time. We seem to have identified his range pretty well, and now we wait to see if he will call. He folds. I think a $200 bet could be the better sizing here to try to get the call from that ace. Bummer that he folded, but he can feel good knowing that his money went to a good cause. Every day, a middle-aged man with excessively high-end taste for shoes is denied access to unaffordable designer shoes simply because he hasn't earned enough money in his life. Now you can be the difference maker in an average dad's life. For the cost of only 7 cups of coffee per day, your generosity can bring a hint of elegance to a blue-collar worker in your community. Whoa! Kings for the 3rd time in the night. We are running hot. That's hot with a A-W. Hot. Middle position opens to $15. There's a caller in between, and now it's on me in the small blind. I raise this one up to $80, going a bit larger since we're out of position, and we have 2 opponents left. Both players still make the call. The flop is 10-8-8. I bet $150 into $240 and get 1 caller. The turn is the 7 of hearts. This brings in a straight for Jack 9, but that's not a hand that we have to be worried about too often. Our opponent called $80 pre-flop. We're behind to 10s, but we can get value from some overpairs and flush draws here. I bet $300, and middle position decides to fold. Kings are fine, but I prefer pocket aces. I'm in the cutoff for this one, and 2 players limp in front of me. I raise to $30, and both limpers make the call. The flop is 6 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 7 of spades. Our opponent is playing most hands and now leads out for $60. This doesn't seem like price setting to see another card. This is a large bet into the preflop aggressor. I'm just going to make the call here. He could easily be holding a 7. The turn is the queen of diamonds, which now adds the nut flush for us, and my opponent checks it over. I'm comfortable checking this one back since my hand has plenty of showdown, plus a redraw. The river is the king of clubs, and he now leads for $125. This would be a very interesting spot against almost any player, but it is especially interesting because of who the player is. He's been so active that he could have almost anything. We've played against him before, and he tends to get a little bit out of line. I think that there is a strong possibility that he has something like a 6 or a 7, but this opponent is capable of doing this with 6-7, 7-8, ace-7, 8-9, 4-5, etc. He clearly doesn't have the flush. I think he would have bet it, and I would find more folds against type players here, but I have to call this player. I tank, announce a call, and he flips over 8-4 offsuit. Glad we didn't get away from this one. Hey look, more kings! We're playing against the same opponent from the previous hand. I raise two $25 in middle position and get 4 callers. The flop is 6-6-3, and it checks to me. I'm going to bet $50 here, and I get 2 callers. The turn is the 8 of clubs, and I check. Our hand has shriveled up quite a bit. Our opponent bets out for $150. It's the same player who had 4-8 offsuit last time, so I'm going to call here. I've got the flush redraw plus the overpair. Let's see what the river brings. It's the 10 of hearts, and the action checks through. This time, we get to see the 4-7 of clubs. He's got it. He hit the flush. Players like this are tough. It's so difficult to know where they are at, but we have to call a little bit more often. We knuckle the table, congratulate him on the win. He's got our chips this time. Aha! Even more kings! And we're doing battle with the same opponent again. Man, this is wild. I raise two $25 in middle position, and he re-raises in the cutoff to 65. 65 doesn't seem like enough for me with pocket kings, so I take it up to $200. He keeps it interesting and makes the call. The flop is 9-9-8. I bet $200, expecting that he now has a real hand like 10s plus and ace-king, things like that, since he called a 4-bet. He makes the call. The turn is the 5 of clubs, which is great for us. I bet $250 to try to get value from those overpairs that are feeling a bit nervous and starting to detect where they're at. Also, we have some flush draws that can make the call as well. The river is the jack of clubs. This is not the ideal card. Tough to get value here. I don't know if I should make the bet, maybe go small. I end up checking here, and he checks back, showing the ace-queen offsuit. We wouldn't have got more money anyway. We're scooping this pot. Not sure that I shouldn't have gone for thin value here. I'm up big after a souped-up 4-hour session and lock up a $1,400 win before I get tired and start giving the money back. That means that the following 3 Patreon supporters are getting $47 as their cut of the action. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you want to win with me, check out the link in the description below. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Here's another one for you. Until next time, go crush the table, and I'll talk to you again soon.